Okay. Congratulations, you did a great job in the film. And
Thank
you know,
you.
I think it's a very smart move on your part to take a role in a film called Wet Bum, because don't you think it like just intrigues people to like, I gotta see this film. What is this
Absolutely,
about?
yeah. It's surprising, and a lot of people think I'm joking when I say the name. If anything, I think it forces you to ask what it's about. A lot of people I found have thought it is a comedy after they first hear it, but
No.
regardless, I think if you can pique people's interest and get them to want to find out more about the movie, it's great. And it does throughout the movie there it does talk about or have elements of wet bum, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
in it with say of self-consciousness, but
Well,
it's
let's
very
face it,
interesting.
You
Yeah.
have a wet bum a lot because you're a swim instructor here. You're a lifeguard.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you
right,
know,
right.
You had the wet bum syndrome.
Of course, yeah, wet bum syndrome, it's a thing. Yeah, it's
I think that we're going to hashtag that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, we're gonna make
It'll
that-
trend worldwide. Yeah.
But no, you did a really great job, and I was
Thank you.
curious to know when you first read the script, what was your impression? Because there's a lot going on in here, and it's a great coming of age story, and it just has a lot to say. So, you know, what did it say to you when you read it?
Well, what I loved so much was that it wasn't like a lot of coming of age stories where they can tend to hit the story over the head, become cliche. You have one character who gets beat down by the world or their peers, and then they just find their confidence at one point and the movie's over. I found with the characters in this film, Lukas, Ed, Sam, and everyone, they all were so fleshed out and real. They were all dealing with their own issues and their own insecurities. And the great thing was that none of them really knew how to deal with it. It didn't just end at a point where there was closure and everything was fine. It was more of a thought-provoking, exploratory movie that looks into these three characters' lives. So that was the thing. It sparked a lot of questions in my head when I read it and explored a lot of nice themes without prescribing an answer to anything.
Right.
And my favorite films and shows do that. They ask the big questions and respect the fact that maybe there's not an answer for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you play Lukas, and he's a bit of a bad boy. So
Right,
I wanted
yeah.
to make it a little bit more fun to play somebody like that.
Yeah, it was funny. He's got this really dark sense of humor, which was fun. And we were just saying, Lindsay and I earlier, we were talking to someone about how we filmed a lot of the movie in actual retirement homes.
Yes.
And you know, he makes these crude jokes about elderly people, gives a woman the finger at the retirement home, and you know, we were doing this in the real place with the people standing around. So part of it was fun, part of it was like, oh God, like, this is just terrible. But we did it, and
You did it.
it was a fun character to play. I mean, yeah, he's very different from myself in many ways.
Yeah.
So.
Did it give you a bit of more of an appreciation for older people?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just gave me a more realistic understanding of what it's like to be at that point in your life. I mean, I have had grandparents pass away and have known older people, but spending so much time in the retirement home and really being that close to it just made it seem realistic. Like Lindsay always says, with this movie we learned it wasn't just old people, you know, telling nice stories of back in the day and giving out butterscotch candies like can often be the idea. Just meeting a lot of the people, seeing, you know, they have problems that they're dealing with. They don't have all the answers. I used to have this idea, you get to a certain point and you'd figure everything out. But it's like, they're more confused than I am. Yeah.
It gets much harder.
It gets harder. Yeah,
It does.
right. Yeah, and so I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's how it works out. But
no, it's good. I think I was saying that to Lindsay, that I think it'll open a lot of eyes for young people to see, like, yeah, you get older and this happens to you.
Yeah, and
you
life
have a
still
little appreciation.
takes place. Yeah, and
no, it's great. I think it's really wonderful. Working with Julia, tell me about that. She's so sweet.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's such a great actress. Working with her was such a treat. She's so generous and so willing to collaborate. A lot of times we'd go into these scenes, and it'd be Lindsay, me, and Julia, and we would just talk, and Lindsay would let us change lines we wanted to change if we asked about it. And Julia was just willing to go with if there was anything I needed, she would respond and be more than happy to do it. So she just made it really easy. That was the main thing, and she's a great actress. She's a great person. She's gonna do so well. Yeah, it was a real pleasure working with her.
Yeah. Was it hard doing the scene in the car with her?
Yeah, it was really hard. You know, you're filming something and it's fake and there's cameras and people around, but as soon as they call action, it's kind of like every part of you does not want to do what you're about to do. So it was very hard, but you gotta just kick it and.
Because she's like a little sister. I would
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. That was like near the end of shooting too. We had this, fun bond as people, and to do that, you just feel like you're doing something so wrong, and you are, and it's just crazy. But it was what the story needed, and we wanted to get it to that level where people might go, oh, that looks really uncomfortable. That's what we were going for.
How important is it for you to be in a film that's debuting at TIFF?
Important. It's huge. It's amazing for me. I'm so excited, and just the fact that we got into TIFF and it's getting some good responses is huge for the movie, because a lot of films, they don't get off the ground a lot of the time. You can film them, and if they don't get into festivals or aren't able to get into these outlets for people to see them, they might not be viewed by a large audience. So I'm so happy it's at TIFF. It means that a lot of people who are passionate about film can come and see it, and maybe it'll open up doors for it to play at other places. My biggest thing is just getting it out to as many people as possible who would want to see it, because I think that's what film is about, is being able to share.
Yeah. Growing up and, being a Canadian actor, what was it that kind of was the jumping point for you? I mean, a lot of people know you from Degrassi.
Right.
And, when I remember also seeing you in Blackbird here a couple of years ago.
Oh, great,
yeah. I thought that was a great little
Thanks,
movie.
yeah, cool.
But for you, how did you, for young Canadians that are watching this now and they go, how do I make it? Tell me your story. Like, how did you do it?
Yeah, well, I'd always been very passionate about the arts, and I had started playing music when I was 13. I started playing guitar, and I played in bands all throughout high school until I was about 19. I still play guitar all the time now. And so that really opened my eyes up to the creative process in music. And I did a play in high school, and I just found these huge similarities between acting and music. Everyone has their own voice. You try to speak through either the material that you're acting or through your instrument in the song that you're playing. And it's all about connection and showing some part of the human condition, being soulful and real, being authentic. So yeah, when I was I think 18, I decided I really wanted to give it a real shot, and I got in touch with some agents in Toronto, and I got lucky. One wanted to sign me, and then from there on in, yeah, it's just a lot of trial and error, a lot of hard work, yeah, and always just trying to keep the interest and the love there for the actual work, because there's a lot of stuff that is all side stuff, things that can take your attention away from actually remembering that you're passionate about, films, TV, theater, acting, the arts, whatever it is. So, yeah, advice, I think you just find what you really love doing and pursue it as vigorously as you can. That's what I've done.
Yeah, is it important for you to stay here in Canada?
Yeah, there's a great industry in Toronto. There's so much going on here, and I absolutely love it here. Yeah, there's a ton of work too. So I absolutely want to keep my connection here. It's a great place for the industry. We've got TIFF, one of the biggest festivals in the world. So yeah, I think Toronto and Canada is hugely important.
Well, good stuff. I know we'll be seeing you tons more. Do you have anything else on the pike, or?
Well, season 14 of Degrassi is going to start airing in 14, right? It's insane, Canadian institution. That starts airing in October, so that's the soonest thing I have coming up.
Good stuff. Well, we love you on that. You're great in this.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure for me to meet you and
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you for a long time, I'm sure, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.